Aloha and welcome to Faith in Politics, where we aim to discuss politics through the lens of faith, both here in Hawaii and around the world. I'm Brennan Scarborough, your host. In this program, Pete Claproth introduces us to Italy's new and first ever female prime minister, and what she has to say in her victory speech may astound you. McKethan puts the American education system to the test. Does their association with the largest union in the country hinder or help America's youth? We'll find out if it's a pass or a fail. But first, we start this episode with a report from Daniel Molina, our community issues reporter, as he hears from concerned citizens at a rally for freedom held at Kapiolani Park. Daniel also caught up with BJ Penn and Gary Cordery. Both ran for governor in the primary, but now they've come together to encourage voters to never give up. Here's Daniel's report.
We are here in Waikiki where people gather together concerned about voter fraud and integrity. Are their concerns warranted? Well, let's find out.
Hey, there's BJ. He's here. He's for us. He's with us. He's got our back. So I just want to thank you guys so much. Thank you. This journey was amazing. And, you know, things end up, God knows how everything is written and how everything is going to fall in line at the end. But the real truth and what is so important is that I know when I ran for governor, when Gary ran for governor, when we ran for governor, we educated so many people. We inspired so many people.
Why are you here and what are your concerns?
My concerns is for the community and for my island. I live on Maui, but I'm here representing.
I am supporting the people who are standing up, listening to their consciences, and not giving up the fight, not saying it's hopeless.
I'm here because our freedom, I feel, in Hawaii is at stake. Ever since the COVID restriction happened, a lot of my family and my friends been affected by the policies that's been brought to by our politicians.
After witnessing what happened to my people, my country, they communists took power, the communist people, the hungry politicians, power-hungry politicians. But the reality is most people are not informed because the news are not telling what they should be telling. And the fact that you guys are here, I appreciate it because this movement needs coverage.
Walking down Waikiki and seeing everybody, you know, they look confused. But this is a freedom march because 2 years ago we lost our freedoms. And I retired from the military in 2020 with 20 years of service. And I served 20 years, and these politicians took away our freedoms in 2 years. You know, and that's a pretty disturbing thing.
I'm here because Hawaii has been one of the most affected states by the tyranny, the government, and the satanic and demonic draconian system that's going on.
So I'm here today to support the freedom movement. I've lived in Hawaii for 5.5 years now, and I recognize corruption, and I'm concerned about that. COVID has opened my eyes to a lot of extra government policy, and that goes against what is our Constitution and our free country.
I'm here for so many reasons today to show unity with the other groups here. I was one of the marchers a year ago where we had 5,000 people marching in these streets for freedom, crimes against humanity, and it motivated me and inspired me.
I think education is the key. Coming out here, talking to everybody, whether we're talking about people losing their jobs because the freedom's lost, whether they're talking about people losing their freedoms because we're not comfortable, we don't trust the election system anymore. I mean, those are all things that we really have to bring people's confidence in, bring those back up. You know, those are serious things.
We brought a complaint against the state in the Supreme Court. This complaint was about unconstitutional ballot. The state does not have the right, according to the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Hawaii, to force the voter to declare whether what party they're with. The complaint wasn't about, did we win or didn't we win? This is not, crying over that we didn't win. But it's another step for the Office of Elections to bring corruption into the system, and that's why we stand. So we will stand at every opportunity when there's ungodly, unrighteous behavior by government, period.
It is not okay for government to tell you how to raise your children. It is not okay for for governor to tell you force yourself to have vaccination, something you cannot take out of your body when so many people have back reactions to it. So therefore, the fact that this has been happening and now we are discovering the truth about COVID-19 and how the CDC was so wrong about so many things, you're telling me that I should blindly trust in government when they make so much mistakes.
I have family members that was fired because of certain policies. I know a lot of people that got injured because of vaccines. So I'm here because I feel like our voice in the media is not being portrayed. Our local voice in Hawaii by the mainstream media they're not hearing us out.
Freedom is always a big deal. Liberty for the people is what we long for as citizens of this world, of the state. So that stand here in Hawaii is for all the people to join in liberty, understand that they have constitutional and civil rights, and so that's why we stand. The government should not tell us how to live and where to go and what to do and what to put into our bodies, and all the things that they desire to implement into the lives of people should not be so.
No matter what you stand for, you always want freedom. So this Freedom March, people might think, oh, they're just doing it to get attention. We're doing it to make sure you get your freedom, I get my freedom, he gets his freedom, because our freedoms are different. But in the end, it's still our freedom.
Hope is not in the natural realm, it's in God. And, we're being blessed and protected. We just have to put our faith fully in Him because we're free in Jesus' name. However, physically on this earth, we're going to face a lot of tribulation. And this is nothing compared to what all scriptures say happens in the end times. However, it is a sign that we are in the end times.
I want to help my community. There's no losing. And if I can outreach to more people, I'm going to be here and do that. And these are my people.
What would you tell the person who lost hope in the voting system?
Oh, that's a hard one because I'm in the same struggle. Honestly, I think we know that in Hawaii we have corruption.
I have seen the movie 2,000 Mules. I've seen Selection Code, and I think that is the biggest problem behind the scenes.
And the reason we have corruption is because the governor appoints everything: the Office of Elections, the ethics, the judges, right? The attorney general, the sheriff. It's an invitation for corruption. And so people don't trust. Hawaii was just rated 50th in corruption, in voter integrity corruption, the last in the nation. This shocked me even to think of that.
Do some research on the new candidates coming out of the woodwork here, for all the parties. I say that because there's a lot of career politicians who many of which are multimillionaires. And I think it's important that we begin to realize term limits and turnover and fresh bodies in some of these government seats.
I think people are likely discouraged to get involved, which is a tragedy, because government should be ran by the people. People who have a passion to serve other people. They know what's right. People want to be told the truth. People really just want somebody to tell them the truth and bring integrity and accountability to government. This is why I ran.
If the media was honest about each candidate's position instead of having some sort of agenda behind it, I think it will be more helpful.
And what we need to do is keep talking to one or two people at a time, our neighbors, our family, and eventually there'll be enough people that know about it that it will make a difference.
We had 40% participation. From the beginning, I've told the people, get out of the stands. You must engage. We live in one of the only countries in the world that allows the people to select their government.
There is a fire inside of you. Start with you. You can do something within yourself, whether it be picking up 3 pieces of trash, whether it be talking or helping an auntie across the street, whether it be just having a normal conversation with someone and just smiling. Give
it your all. Go out there and be a voice. And that way you can say, hey, I tried. We're all trying. We're all jumping into the ring. But we can't do it without the support of everybody. So never give up. Never say your voice never counts, because it does. Your voice always counts.
And so people sit back out of despair. Many people, hundreds of people said to me in the campaign, why should I bother to vote? It's corrupt. My vote won't count. This is the mindset that must change. People must exercise self-government. We need people to realize that they've been given a gift and they must govern that gift by exercising that in the community, whether they're running for office or just voting or supporting somebody. So I would say that people who are struggling to vote in November, you have to do it anyway.
And people that have the right to vote are choosing not to because of what? My vote doesn't count. That's what they want you to believe.
It's not with me trying to run for office. The goal isn't me knowing what's going on or any of the politicians knowing what's going on. The goal is for the people to know what's going on, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here to educate them.
Don't be discouraged, and just do what you can. So voting is one thing. Pray before you vote and listen to your conscience.
There is no losing hope in all of this, and hope is the inevitable. And if we keep united and keep that community strong, you're going to feel that hope and that love all around. There's nothing more beautiful.
Everybody's going to wake up and everybody's going to look and say, look at these people. We know what's going on. We all got to come up. The mana is with the people.
Hope is not in the natural realm, it's in God. And, you know, we're being blessed and protected. We just have to put our faith fully in Him.
One vote at a time, one voice at a time. It's what will make the change.
Jesus is King. We must get back to our family and our roots as spirits of this beautiful island that God given us. We need to go back to it.
We are against a big giant, but the power of a few can make a big change. That's what I believe is happening.
Maybe going to be 10% us in the end when all this changes, and 90% God anyway. But we still have to do our part.
This is a war on religion. This is a war on the children. They gotta go with the sickness. This is a war on tradition.
Reporting on community concerns, this is Daniel Molina on Faith in Politics.
Special thanks to Daniel Molina for that report. You're watching Faith in Politics. We'll be right back.
Hey, did you know that Call TV is an app? Well, we do. Have you downloaded it yet? It's filled with awesome content, including exclusive uncut material, and it's easy to download. Even your mom can do it. Simply go to the App Store, search Call TV, hit the download button, and voila! You now have access to inspirational materials that you can watch anywhere. Download the Call TV app today.
Are you a coach, athlete, or do you know someone who is? Right behind me on this field, we have an event, fun games, food trucks for the family, the Fields of Faith, October 2nd from 4 to 8. And best of all, Brian Clay, Olympic gold medalist, will be here to share a message with you. We want all our coaches and athletes to be there. See you then. Let's get in the game. How's that?
People ask me, how did I end up working at Call TV? Well, as I was about to graduate from high school, I got involved with a video project at my church. The finished video was shown to Call TV, and I was offered an internship for the summer. Of course I said yes. Next thing you know, I was offered a position. Being a small team, I got involved in all aspects of production, from camera work to editing to broadcasting. And what I love most of all is Call TV's focus on spreading the gospel. In fact, we are the only local Christian TV station in Hawaii. We are always moving forward, making efforts to improve ourselves, and always focused on Christ. Our vision is bigger than any one person. That is why I want to ask you to consider being a part of the team by supporting us, and together we can be an influence on our culture with the message of Christ. Imagine that, working together, broadcasting aloha across Hawaii. Thank you for your financial support that empowers Call TV.
Welcome back to Faith in Politics. The American public education system. Would it pass with flying colors, or is it in trouble of flunking out? McKethan puts them to the test. Here's Mac.
Over the years, we have had major changes within our education system. Sadly, the majority of those changes have been detrimental to our children as well as our society. Our education system has gone from bad to worse. Today, our children are not being educated, they're being indoctrinated into ignorance. The days of critical thinking and reasoning are nearly over with within our public school systems. Children are not being taught how to think, but are being taught what to think. Most public school systems have become a pool of political rhetoric and continue to adopt ideologies that push agendas while implementing policies that keep our students at a disadvantage scholastically. And please take notice that the majority, if not all, of those who are pushing these agendas and policies either don't have any children of their own or send their children to private schools where at least the curriculum is conducive in advancing their knowledge. In other words, they clearly know what this system is doing to the children who are stuck under it. And in my opinion, their plan is to ensure that they have complete control over it. And why is that? Because in the end, they will ultimately have control over those who are indoctrinated. Allow me to provide some examples by local parents. Recently, a 10th grader here reported to her parents that she had an essay to write in her English class. No problem there, but the essay had to be about how we must fight climate change and become dependent on renewable energy. I hope you can see the major issue here. This assignment is being used in a manner to indoctrinate students into this unrealistic world. So what are the students to do? No doubt that most of them will write an essay that promote the thoughts of the teacher, to the point that proper grammar will not determine the outcome of the grade. So long as you agree, you will get a satisfactory grade. And this is not a suspicion, this is reality. Agree and pass, rebel against the falsities, and risk being made an example. And when it comes being taught what to think, how about this one? A high school student was told by her teacher that they should only think for themselves and not listen to their parents. But of course, listen to the teachers who are pushing this nonsense. We're talking about children who need parental guidance of every kind. And mind you, the teacher who recommended this is in his early 20s. I hope that the kids do think for themselves on this one and not listen to this lunacy. And as Christians, we're given a command to obey our parents in the Lord. My daughter came home from school and said that one of her teachers told her that a C was an excellent grade. Thank God my daughter was quick to respond with, "Not for me." And you can find examples of this from the beginning of our learning institutions. It's so sad. So what type of teacher chooses politics over positive learning? What type of teacher tells their students not to listen to what their parents tell them? And what type of teacher tells their students that a C is an excellent grade? Oh, I'll tell you what type of teachers. These are the type of teachers that the majority of the country voted for, and they have been empowered to teach our children all that they need to know in order to become detached from reality, champions of mediocrity, and socially enslaved politically. And at the helm of all of this is the National Education Association. The NEA is the largest labor union in the United States, and it represents public school teachers as well as a host of colleges and educational support groups throughout the U.S. This union has a major footprint and has all but been given the keys to shape what is being taught, how it's being taught, and again, how our children should think, even as adults. I would encourage you to take a deep look at their website at NEA.org. And what you will notice is that at the forefront of their mission is not education, but it's social justice. And please know what social justice has turned into. It has become the term that includes critical race theory, climate change, Roe versus Wade, and everything associated with the LGBTQ agenda. This is why we are witnessing all of this within the public school curriculum today. When looking into this, you will also find that the Department of Education is in lockstep with the NEA. Take a look at the DOE website, ed.gov, and tell me what you see. Most of the same goals, most of the same priorities that are leading to all of the same problems that we see within our public schools. It is clear that the agenda for our children within the public school system is to indoctrinate them into becoming free and dumb thinkers, where their minds are being programmed to be trained to support causes instead of having minds that are trained to help them learn. Millions of our dollars are funding our children to be dumbed down, sensualized, and emotionally exploited. We have allowed this to go on for far too long, and we all need to speak up and expose this garbage and those who are promoting the practices of these unethical processes. So what policies are you voting for? Addressing social and culture issues, I'm Mac for Faith in Politics.
Thanks, Mac, for that report. You're watching Faith in Politics. When we return, we meet the new Prime Minister of Italy. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, Hawaii. I'm Kahu David from Imiola Church, right here on the big island of Hawaii. And I'm standing in beautiful Cherry Blossom Park to invite you, Hawaii, to come join us on October 15th for Namele Aloha, Songs of Love, as we bring the unity back into the community In this crazy world that we've been in, there's so much division, and we figure what better way to do it but with music. Celebrating the songs of our kupuna. Songs that they would have told stories of the land of Hawaii, the people of Hawaii, and the love for Akua. And so come join us with award-winning lineup. Kavika Kaeako, Lena Naiko, Jeff Rasmussen, Mark Yamanaka, Weldon Kekoa, and Sam Kapu III. Come join us here right in this beautiful park in Waimea for a day of good food, good music, good fun.
I work full-time in Master Control, which is responsible for getting the signal out across Hawaii. I am blessed to be part of the team here at Kala TV, which is so unique because we are the only local Christian TV station in Hawaii. Please consider partnering together with me. Your financial support directly helps me in Master Control to send out Christ-centered content across Hawaii. Imagine that you and I are collaborating together to broadcast the gospel, spreading aloha 24/7. Thanks for your financial support that fuels Kala TV.
Welcome back to Faith in Politics. By now you may have heard that Italy elected its first female prime minister. Pete Claproth discovers more about this new political leader as he surveys her victory speech. You may be surprised. Here's Pete.
Just this week, Italy voted in a new prime minister, Giorgia Meloni, Italy's first ever female prime minister. Amazingly, her unlikely victory shows that Italians desire a conservative government in the middle of a liberal Europe. Some are even calling the 45-year-old Meloni the Italian Trump. Imagine that. I'm no expert in Italian politics, so I won't pretend to know much about her. But if you're like me and do an online search to learn more, you'll be slammed with the technocrats and mainstream media's remorse that a conservative won the third strongest European economy. So what do they think about Italy's new prime minister? Well, you guessed it. She's a fascist. And of course she is. After all, fascism is a term that started in Italy. Never mind that she's all for family, country, and godly principles. Search online and it will be filled with rhetoric that sells her as a real threat to democracy. Which is funny, by the way, because she was voted in, which, in case you've forgotten, is a democratic process. Again, I don't know much about her, but Meloni caught my eye because of her victory speech. It resonates with me because Meloni was able to perfectly describe how the extreme left is affecting the world. It is so profound and yet so simple to grasp. Let me read a segment of Meloni's speech to you, and I quote, "Why is the family an enemy? Why is the family so frightening? There is a single answer to all these questions, because it defines us, because it defines our identity, because everything that defines us is now an enemy for those who would like us to no longer have an identity and simply be the perfect consumer slaves. And so they attack our national identity, they attack religious identity, they attack gender identity, they attack family identity." Meloni goes on, "I can't define myself as Italian, Christian, woman, mother. No, I must be citizen X, gender X, parent 1, parent 2. I must be a number, because when I'm only a number, when I no longer have an identity or roots, then I will be the perfect slave to the mercy of financial speculators, the perfect consumer. But we will defend it," Meloni says. "We will defend God, country, and family. Those things that disgust people so much. We will do it to defend our freedom, because we will never be slaves and simple consumers at the mercy of financial speculators." Meloni finishes by quoting G.K. Chesterton, a British Christian apologist, and here's the quote, "Fires will be kindled to testify that 2 + 2 = 4. Swords will be drawn to prove that leaves will be green in summer," end quote. That Chesterton quote describes that our world is no longer logical. Even simple math must be defended, as does the common sense of nature. While we condone the killing of unborn lives, the carving up and castration of preteens, and cities where crime is a free-for-all and residents are no longer safe, just like Paul's letter says to the Romans, professing to be wise, we have become fools. Family is the enemy, hated and despised. Well, here in Hawaii, ohana means everything, right? Yet we have allowed the cutting off of bloodlines in the name of pro-choice and the mutilation of children because of transgenderism, and that is a social contagion. Meloni pinpoints the root of the problem, identity. which is the most powerful God-given element that makes us human. And the enemy has caused us to get our eyes off of that gift, leaving many confused, ironically searching for their identity. What is the outcome? We are cut off and reduced to nothing more than consumers, just like Meloni said. Revelation 13 gives us a glimpse of the Antichrist and his hunger to control the entire world. This Antichrist develops a system where everyone is reduced and identified by a number. You know it, 666. And just as Meloni describes, people are reduced to perfect consumers. No one can buy or sell without that mark. The only identity left is that mark on your forehead and your right hand. And at that point, there is no fight, only an existence enslaved to a one-world government. Exodus 33 is one of those pivotal moments in history. Moses wants to see God face to face. And the Lord says, I will make all my goodness pass before you, and I will call out my name, Yahweh, before you. I will show mercy to anyone I choose, and I will show compassion to anyone I choose. But you may not look directly at my face, for no one may see me and live. The Lord continued, Look, stand near me on the rock as my glorious presence passes by. I will hide you in the crevice of the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will remove my hand and let you see me from behind, but my face will not be seen. What an incredible moment. We get a glimpse of how powerful God is. But I noticed something that I never saw before. There's a line here where God says, and I will call out my name, Yahweh, before you. Interesting. Why did God say that? Did Moses doubt that this was God? Could God's identity be mistaken for someone else? I think God is being very clear about his identity, and he uses his personal name, Yahweh, to be crystal clear. You see, identity is tantamount to who God is and who we are. In our world, we are being stripped of our identity. But like Meloni says, we will defend God, country, and family. Those things that disgust people so much. We will do it to defend our freedom, because we will never be slaves and simple consumers at the mercy of financial speculators. So let me end with a question. How much is your ohana worth? Are you willing to stand up for your ohana and defend our God-given identity? You still have the unique opportunity to vote in leaders who will represent you and your ohana, both present and future. That is why we must never give up, never give in, and never surrender.
Thanks, Pete, for that compelling word. We'll follow Italy closely as they move toward a conservative government. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. Before we end, we want to remind you that Fields of Faith is this Sunday in Honolulu. Let's get the word out to athletes, coaches, and let them know about this much-needed event. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith in Politics. We'll continue to bring a voice to the faith community. This program exists because of viewers like you, and from all of us here in Faith in Politics, thank you for your support, both financially and prayerfully. If you believe the content we're providing is important, please consider partnering with us. For those watching as social platforms such as Rumble or YouTube, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Invite your friends to tune in and watch our program. We're the only local political program here in Hawaii with a Christ-centered point of view. I'm Brendan Scarborough, and until next time, aloha.
What's up? This is BJ Penn, and you're watching Kalo TV. Never give up.